Ori Goldberg joins us now. Ori, you're an Israeli political commentator. You're joining us from Tel Aviv. We've spoken many times before. How are you doing? What have the last few days been like for you? Can you describe that for our viewers?
In one word, exhausting, because the Israeli civil defense system, which was very punctual and very timely during the first days of this war, I'm not going to say it's breaking down, but it's going slightly haywire. We get a lot of alarms. Our defense system is divided into two stages. You get advanced warnings if this is a missile coming in from Iran, because then you have time to run and shelter. And then there are air raid sirens when the missile is very close, but then you're expected to be very close to the shelter or in the shelter itself. If these are rockets from Lebanon, then all you get is air raid sirens, and sometimes the rockets start hitting even before the air raid sirens sound. So during the first days of the war, there were a lot of advanced warnings and a lot of sirens, but they were very much connected to a reality we could chart even as ordinary citizens. Now there is seemingly very little connection between notices of missiles, even notices of interceptions, and the regularity with which Iran seems to be bombing Israel and with which missiles seem to penetrate Israeli airspace. I'm not suggesting that Israel has incurred great damage, certainly nothing the likes of which Iran and Lebanon have taken from Israeli carpet bombings, but there is a growing sense of insecurity that unfortunately does not cause Israelis to get more critical about this war.
So we understand daily life, therefore, is sort of paced by all these alerts that you're getting and by going near the shelter and then inside the shelter. So what is open or closed, what is working or not working in Israel, you know, whether it's schools, shops, offices, in terms of daily life?
Schools and universities are closed. Public institutions have yet to come up with a sustainable formula because the situation keeps changing. In principle, people who work in the public sector are expected to return to work, but no sort of arrangement, no sort of compensation has been settled for the days they missed, but also for those who have to stay at home with kids who have no schools. As far as businesses go, it depends on the business owner. There are limitations on the size of gatherings, but restaurants can open, cafes can open, stores are open generally. Supply chains are still running. Israel is not under that heavy of a barrage, but again, it's not a state of chaos, but it's a state of, let's call it simmering semi-chaos. And it can erupt at any time. Should there be a chance of further escalation, Israelis will crowd supermarkets with panic shopping. And I think the most important aspect of life here now is that everybody has a very clear idea that this is not going to get better anytime soon. But we don't really know what's happening on the one hand. On the other hand,
Ori, pause there if you wouldn't mind. That's what I wanted to ask you. Can you bring us into the conversations that people are having? You know, when in the bunkers or over the phone with their relatives in other parts of the country, you know, what kind of questions are they asking themselves, and how do they perceive for the moment this war going well or not so well?
That's one of the $64,000 questions. It depends on who's part of your feed. If you're surrounded by people who are like-minded, then there's a chance that you might be of the opinion that this war is a transcendent, divinely inspired victory. That Israel is single-handedly changing the Middle East by demonstrating to every country in the region that we do have the power, the discretion, and the impunity to do whatever we want to whomever we deem as an enemy. But on the other end of this, you get a lot of people who, at the very least, realize that the boasts of great achievements made in June of 2025, after the first war with Iran, what President Trump called the 12-day war, these achievements have come to absolutely nothing, because Israel seems to be destroying exactly the same installations and facilities that it claimed to have destroyed in June of 2025. So you have a lot of mistrust as well. You have a great sense of unclarity. We just don't know where this is going. We don't know what the point is. Again, I'm sad to say it, but it's true. The great majority of Israelis care very little about the damage to the countries that Israel is attacking, about the civilian casualties, about the destruction of infrastructure in ancient history, and about the displacement of hundreds of thousands of people. That is simply seen as a part of the horrors of war. And hey, look at us. We're not getting a good night's sleep, and we haven't gotten one in 10 days. So we're suffering as well. A lot of Israelis, while they do not like the way this war is managed, while they may have questions about where this war is going, they support the war in principle. And in that sense, this is no different from Israel's genocidal campaign in Gaza. People don't like it, but people can't see an alternative to it.
What kind of media diet and information diet are you getting? Because I know that in normal times in Israel, there are military restrictions on what can be reported or not reported if it's about one of Israel's ongoing conflicts. In this situation, what are you seeing, and are you getting the information that you need?
I think this goes back to that simmering semi-chaos. There are a lot of restrictions on official media channels. You can show sometimes scenes of the impact, and you can report numbers of casualties, but usually after a rocket or a missile actually hits Israel, then you have reporting from the scene. You have an immediate description of how many people died or were injured, but there's very little follow-up, because one impact arena chases another. And Israel is under continuous attack. Now, take, for example, the issue of whether the number of missiles being launched at Israel from Iran has grown, has increased or decreased. In absolute terms, perhaps there are less missiles being launched. We don't know how many missiles there are in one salvo. But in terms of completely disturbing and obstructing any semblance of stability in Israeli daily life, Iranians don't have to fire a lot of missiles. You need to launch a certain number of missiles at certain times of the day, and Iranians seem to be doing a very good job of that, because life here has very much been disrupted.
Yeah, Ori, I'll share with you that it's a similar situation actually in the Gulf, where Iran can launch volleys of missiles 2, maybe 3 times a day, and that's enough to keep just everybody edgy, for one, and also schools closed and offices working remotely for those that can. Ori, we'll leave it here for now, but thank you very much for joining us on the Al Jazeera NewsHour.
Thank you for having me.